Hello, I'm Laura Lee Brody. This is the summer 2014 final project. The project I'm focusing on is to develop a tool that will help in detecting sex trafficking by analyzing a particular John's blogging website to analyze whether the messages posted there indicate a particular John is violent or abnormal in some way, and to help the investigator view the messages and determine if a particular person needs to be looked at. A little bit about my environment. I am using Kali Linux. Let's see, I have VMware Workstation 10. It's very nice to do all this in. I can cut and paste between my PC and my VM very nicely. And the Kali Linux has got a lot of nice features. Just a quick look here. There's the Kali Linux and all the nice tools that are available. Okay, and I installed PyDev for Eclipse PyDev. Makes it really nice to operate. I tend to run in either debug or in run mode in PyDev because it can go up and down and look at my code. So that's what I'll do here because it makes it nice to talk to. Let's see, the libraries that I'm using are here. Quite a lot, and I'll go down to the main. I've got a little short synopsis on how to use this. There's several parts to running this utility. A part to do the web scraping, and then the next part is to summarize the message data. Then an analyst needs to classify those messages in order to be able to train the classifier, the naive Bayes classifier. And then after that, the classifier can be run. But each thing has a number of options, and here we are showing the argument parsing. Okay, what I want to do is show you the web page that we're going to be scraping. Right here. It's the erotic review general message board, and you can see it has some material at the beginning and then a whole list of links that are links to the various posts people have made. And if you, just to show you what my software does, is grabs these links, and each of these individual links point to a message. So this top one, let's see, I view it one message at a time, and it has the area of the message, content, a title, and each of the titles are different. They don't all follow with one title. The handle of the person making the post, and sometimes that handle looks a little different. Let's see if I'll find one here. Okay, here's one. This message poster is different. You see that their name is up here, and it also has a section that says see my TER reviews. This is indication that this is a provider. and it has to be processed differently to pull that out. Okay, back here at the main page, what I needed to do was to look at the source of this page. And the links are down a ways. Here they are. Right. And this part right here is what I need to look for. Content layout dot thread tree paginated, and then look for all these links to the individual messages. You'll see that in a minute. So close this, go back to the code. So here we are at get full links, and depending on which page, I start out with the main page, page 1, and it doesn't have a page number after it. Using Beautiful Soup, you saw that area that I'm looking for, and I look for the hrefs that start with view message, and get those and loop through until I return all the links. Then once I have that, I open the specific message posting, and like I said, here's the poster, the post time, the message content. I have to find that in the source right here, and I've paged down a little bit. This is the area to look for. Here's the posting time. I have to parse this right here to get the poster out of here, and it depends on if it's there's a couple of different styles on this here. I have to process a couple of different ways to get the poster information. And let's go back to the code, and that's in get message info. And I open this specific message link. And then here I'm getting the message content. I take off this little, a lot of them have this end of message string on it, take that off. Go down here to get the title, and one option is right here to get the title. I look for the provider string to determine if that's a provider. This is where I'm looking for the first form of the member name, but if I don't find it there, it could be in a different area, and I look for that provider string. This is the second area that I can find it in. So finally I have the message poster. To get the date, this is the area that I'm looking in. Clean it up, separate it out into an actual date and a time, and return all that message info. So back in main, the message info is returned. The next thing to do is create the SQL database. And here we are. Just all the message info comes in, and we just open up the database and loop through it and add it and close. This is pretty nice. This is using the SQL Alchemy libraries. And so this shows SQL Alchemy classes that the message posting that we started out with, and then later we'll use the poster information. So back at main, this is the section that we just talked about. To run it, you have to configure the settings. To do the scraping, you would set this one, the scrape option, to true. This is where I last left off, I guess. I'll put that back to false here, the classify. Oops. And this is the page number. I'm going to start out with 1, so I'll take this off because it defaults to 1. Apply it. So what I want to do is, here's my SQL project file, and I have an output directory where all the output goes into. And here's my output products. I have the SQL database here. I want to save it off so it doesn't get affected by my showing you how to run it. So I'll rename it, I guess. And back here, I want to run, and I'm going to pause you because this takes about 30 minutes to run. Okay, we're done. And one thing I do like to print out is my arguments that I parsed. I don't think I said that before. But let's go look at the data. And in the output directory, we have a new final project SQL database that we wrote, and we'll open it up. This is the one that I just finished. So let's open up the new one. And let's look at our database structure. We created 2 tables, poster info and message posting. Poster info doesn't have any data in it yet, and message posting is the one we just created and filled. Well, populated anyway. All the fields aren't filled yet. Go look at the data. And here we see that we have a handle for a message poster, the content of the message, and the other thing I get is the message title because they're all different. It's over here for some reason. The post date and time, and I convert the time into a floating point number so I can more easily collect information about each user and use this to compute average time of posting. Here's something a little interesting, whether I consider it the poster a provider or not, and here's one right here. That's just gotten from whether in the poster's handle they put a link to their reviews. In other words, an escort's reviews. And then other fields that we don't have populated yet are the classification and a field that tells whether it's training, test, or classification data. Okay, back to the code. And the next thing to run, well, let's see. What I would normally do is add an argument to do multiple pages. And since they take about 30 minutes each, I'm not going to do that, but if I wanted to do the next page number, I would put in N2 and run it again and continue until I couldn't stand it any longer. Okay, so we're done scraping. Set that to false and set this guy to true for provider info. And let's see, let's look at those guys. Poster info, rather. And we're going to collect the poster information. And that'll let us go into this loop. And I'll go ahead and run that guy. And pause you because he takes a little while too. Okay, he's done, so let's reopen the database. Right here. And now you'll see the message postings are there. Oh, I was already there. We have the poster summary data. And we only did one page. Back over here, you'll see there's only 947 messages. So the summary information on posters lists, it happens to put it in alphabetical order of the message poster, which I wish it didn't do, but there they all are. And you see some of them have more than others. Right, the next thing that would have to be done would be to go in here and decide which items were positive and negative for training data. And I think I'll just pick out a couple. Say if I wanted to make this guy training data, I would set the classification to positive, if I considered it positive, and set here train. And then I'm just going to set a couple. Say this one I thought was negative, and he was training data. And maybe this one was positive. Oh, I meant testing. Test data. And say that was negative test data. I'm not going to bother to look at these things right now. I would have to go through all the messages, and this one page is 947, and that's not sufficient to have enough testing and training data to run the next step. So I believe I have one that has 12 pages where I just have set the testing and training. I think that's the one that's called page 12 there. Nope. Oh no, I guess not. So let's go back. oh, here, called train. Right. So this is what it looks like with training and test data in it. There's some test guys. And this is one that I did, 12 pages, ends up being 9,892 message postings. And that's what would go on to the next step. So back to our main. Our next step would be to classify. Now this one, I could run it with that database that I just showed you, but it takes about an hour. Let's see, let's look at our configuration. What we just finished doing was the poster information. We set that one to true. So the next step would be to set him to false and classify to true. Oops, oh dear. Close and reopen it. No, I don't want to save that. I made a mistake. False and true. And the default on the number of features to show in the report is 50. So I don't have a option for that. I could add that. Let's apply this and go have a look at what that looks like. So if I wanted 100 features, say, I would go in on the runtime, run configuration, and set that to 100, say. And at this point I could run it, but it takes much too long. So I'm going to go back here and show you one that was previously done. Okay, this is the one that we just ran, but we didn't put training on. I'm going to rename him to page 1. And the one that has all the data is this guy here. Save. And I'll rename him. And the code that runs for the classification is right here. I have classify. He initialized. Let's see. He gets the SQL training data and test data, and then initializes the naive Bayes classifier. Checks accuracy. And this is a little interesting one. I wanted to show informative features, but this function writes to standard output and it doesn't return a value. So you can't capture the value. So I had to change standard output to my little capture guy, run it, change it back, and then I can get the captured standard output so I can write it to a file. And then this guy here, write classification info. he's the one that just writes to a file the data that was in that for classification report. Go back to main. And then once he's writing his report, once that's done, then I query the message postings, filter on not equal to train or test, and then get the text to classify. It's a combination of the message title and message content. Classify it with a classifier, and then write back what the result of the classification is, and classify to the SQL database, and just continue looping through. This takes a good long time. It took slightly over an hour when I ran it. So I will just go straight to looking at what that looks like. And this is the 12 pages. Oops. There we are. I got it open here. Message postings. And here the classifier has classified all the ones that are not already set to train or test, and whether it's positive or negative. So an analyst can go in and look at that, or they can look at the database and poster information. And this one is ordered by the message poster. The one that I think is more helpful is the report, poster info report, that has it ordered by, oh, where'd it go? Ordered by the largest poster. Oh, this is the one that we ran with the small one-page database. All right, here's more interesting. This is the one I ran before. Poster info. All right, took me a minute to open this. Here it is. This is the one that was written from the data that contained 12 pages, almost 10,000 messages. You see there's a few of them that are high number postings, and that would be of interest. And then the analyst could look at the average time that they post and make something out of that as well. And then I mentioned the classification report. This is the one from the 12-page output. I was trying to get 200 training data, and I did that, but the accuracy of this test set is not very good. And the words, it prints out the most informative features, the words it used to classify the message into either positive or negative. Okay, a little more information. Like I said, I had a hard time picking training data. I read through about 3,500 posts, and still didn't have enough, so I started searching for particular terms that might be considered out of line. And when the SQL database found those terms, then I picked those items as positive in order to get up to 200 training set. The other thing is I posted the output files, but since they have adult content, I made a stab at password protecting it, but it's not a secure password. The password is password. It's just something that's an extra step, so a person would have to intentionally open them to view them. And you can read the summary report that has details on all the command line options. Thanks for looking.